Oh, that's weird. Everything opened in reverse. That's funny. No, from the agenda.
Yeah, no.
Because it's on. It came up on Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
It opened things in reverse order.
Yeah,
Did it do that to you too?
Yeah, it did it to me too. So go right to left like manga.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was looking at stuff going, wait, that's not the Titan story. And I'm like, no, that's all the way over there.
Hey, guys.
Hello there.
Yes, hey, Gordon.
Hey, Brand, I just texted you to let you know that I was ready.
Yeah,
so.
I just saw that and I was texting you, letting you know I was calling you.
How fortuitous.
So how's everybody?
Doing good. And thanks again last night for, recording the show last night. I just saw your post, by the way, that you put up after the show, and I'm really grateful for that. So, be very interesting to see what happens when we put it up next Wednesday.
I really do mean it. It was a really good show. I enjoyed it.
No, he just told me before you signed on that it went really well. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. And hey, John, belated happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope you had a good day.
It was okay.
Cake and ice cream, of course, right?
Actually, no.
Really?
Oh, no.
No, I'm a diabetic.
Oh, that's right. That's
and cake and ice cream.
Oh, sorry about that. Oh.
So
what was it? Rice cake and wishing?
No, I just waved at the cake at the ice cream. Just I drove by it. It's one of those things. Yeah, the stuff that they say is cake for diabetics is not cake.
Oh,
is it foam? Like styrofoam?
It's actually styrofoam with fondant on it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh,
It's styrofoam which has like little brownish things that maybe possibly have no chocolate in them.
Yes.
They're carob chips.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like that stuff that they call milk in the freezer section, but it's not really.
Right.
Don't get me going. I spent a year in Vietnam with powdered milk. Oh God, was that disgusting. Oh. Anyway.
Oh, this should have been on the show. That was good stuff.
See, you got to record all the time, Brad. All the time.
Well, this will go into the outtakes.
Exactly. Yeah.
What you are about to hear is highly classified. What you are about to hear is highly classified.
Old people bitch about milk.
Yeah.
Get the dairy companies to come after us.
Yeah.
Of
Get
course.
Well, it's all
Get
about
that
marketing. Because now,
Yeah.
like, instead of skim milk, it's now, like, fat-free milk.
Or the acidophilus milk. Like, get that away from my milk. It's making it feel bad about itself.
Right. Or the organic milk. That's
Or
what
the
actually we
organic.
get.
Or almond milk, which, almonds can't make milk.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how they milk them.
How do you milk an almond?
Very carefully.
Well,
Delicately.
Well, you've seen the latest strain on that now, right? Now it's cashew milk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would be good, actually. I like cashew.
Yeah, and why exactly are the nuts on those commercials so angry? Have you ever really listened to them? They're snarky, angry little nuts when
Maybe
they're trying to get
because they're
these people
getting
to drink.
milked.
Probably because they've just been milked, but, they're very grumpy about it.
John, consent forms are not involved when it comes to milking nuts. That's all
Probably
I got
not.
to say.
Oh.
So you were engaging in a sex crime if you drink almond milk.
Oh. Illegal nut trafficking.
That's right, illegal nut trafficking.
Does that conjure up images?
Yeah, poor nuts from some third world country chained to a wall in one of those things they put on boats.
I just love to sit in on
Those
a
big things
brainstorming session.
What's that, Gordon?
I don't know.
I was about to say, I'd love to sit in on the brainstorming sessions for marketing. It's like, hey, how about come taste our nutty goodness? No, sorry. No.
Oh.
Sorry, nothing with the word nuts or anything like that in it, please. We already learned that from the candy bar industry.
Exactly.
Spare us.
Sometimes you feel like one, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh. Groan.
Groan.
we're back in form. We're back in form.
We are. All right, there we go.
Back
Like
in
you never
something.
stopped.
I'm not sure it's form, but we're back in something.
The show hasn't even started yet, and we've already spiraled.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Whoa,
We can only
to the
go
show
up from
now.
here.
Well, you say that, but
Or we now that we've hit bottom, we can start digging.
there you go. Come out on the other side.
Yeah, in
Uh,
China.
Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah,
Once we get through the lava and all that.
right. We end up in China. If they can milk a nut, we can dig our way to China.
There you go.
Yeah,
Because
if someone
science.
gets a shovel, it's going to get deep.
That's right.
This is like Saturday morning cartoon science, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you guys ready to do this for real?
Oh,
We're already doing it.
Yeah. Have we changed that, or are we not doing it now? Oh, we're
No,
ending the
no.
show.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, we're all warmed up here. Let's
Yeah.
go. The
Yeah.
bullpen says, get us out there, Chief.
All right, let's do it. All right, make sure we're recording as usual, and we are this time, Ron. And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant Fowler.
God help me, I'm John Wilson.
He's back.
I'm Gordon Demowski.
And I'm Captain Ron Fortier, and for all of those who said it couldn't be done, hey, welcome to episode 301, and buckle up, people.
Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy, shaky, nutty ride.
I almost got out, but they pulled me back in.
Speaking of which, John, we were talking about this before the show, but happy belated birthday. Your birthday was
Thank you
Wednesday,
very much.
Yeah. And it's funny because there's another Zone 4 alumni who also shares your birthday, which is one of the
Really?
original co-founders, Jason Barrett Lewis.
Poor man.
Yeah. So
No offense, guys, all right, but you guys have really got to stop posting your birthdays, because, you really are making me feel ancient. I see John's birthday posting, on Facebook, and I went, mental arithmetic immediately. You realize I was 21? Oh, my God.
As I usually tell people when I read out my birthday, because it usually elicits a chuckle, because my birth date is 2468. So, as I tell people, I had nothing to do with it. I just showed up.
Well,
So you had to blame someone else for the day of my birth.
yeah. Well, we appreciate you, John.
Yes, we do.
I take blame for everything after that, but not the actual day.
And let me just say that there'll be plenty of ample opportunity for Ron to feel really old, because next month when we record, it should be the day before my birthday.
Oh.
And he's even younger than I am.
Yeah.
So
Well, later in the month,
And
next
Brant's
month,
even younger
Yeah,
than
later
me,
in the month,
so.
next month is mine, so you can feel even older, Ron.
So there you
I
go.
mean,
3
hey, look,
opportunities to feel like a
as far-
geezer.
Yay. As far as Brand's concerned, all my kids are older than me.
Yeah, no doubt.
He could be my grandson, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Brant and Ron, if you don't want to feel old, you really shouldn't post your high school photos with Julius Caesar on your Facebook page. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Lesson learned, right?
Yeah.
Well, that
He
and I.
he was my buddy in Latin class.
No.
That's true. Without him, he never would have gotten through advanced, whatever that was. Advanced Coliseum.
I was about to say you lost it.
I lost it. I'm out of practice.
Well, on that note, we should mention we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us each, not each week now, but each episode you can find us over on comicspodcast.com. So, there we go. But yeah, we're back, and happy belated New Year to everybody. Obviously, it's well into the year
Yeah,
now, but
well,
we haven't talked to you, so you
Yeah.
know.
year's not so new now.
Yeah, I know. Happy.
Lots of new things been happening, huh, Brand?
Yeah, a lot of interesting things for the show specifically. If you guys didn't catch it over the holiday break, I did post an announcement video talking about all the new programming for Zone 4 and Zone 4 related stuff, and including Ron's new show, Airship 27 with Rob Davis. That the first episode's going to go up next Wednesday, so
Wahoo!
excited about that. We recorded it yesterday. We had a good time, Ron, right? Or you did,
yes,
while I listened in.
You know what? Honestly, that's the fastest 55 minutes I've ever seen. Believe me. Rob and I were talking today about it, and we're both anxious. We've both been guests on a lot of podcasts over the years, and I've had the real fun and enjoyment, and to co-host with you guys and all that stuff. But it's a whole other responsibility when it's your show, right?
It's your baby.
Yeah, we're just sitting there talking like, okay, so what are we going to talk about next? And just to give you a cue, Brant, Rob writes me today and goes, we got to plan out a tighter agenda for the show.
Yeah, the bane of every podcaster.
Yeah.
It's like, oops, we went through our topics too quickly.
Exactly.
It was like, and that's the kicker, though, John. We did have a loose agenda, and some things we wanted to talk about. No, the gospel true, because we want to make it an hour show. We're set with that, and I'm telling everybody who's listening now, please, in the post next week, give us a listen, please, and give us some feedback. But we stuck to the hour. So again, it was like there were these slow periods, as you guys will know when you do these things. But then all of a sudden, it was like we were playing catch up. And I'm looking at the clock, right, and it's going tick, tick, tick. All right, Rob, we got to get out of here now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Did you have an alarm set, Ron?
Actually, I have my alarm clock.
Okay.
It wasn't set.
Okay. Okay. Because I heard something in the background. I thought maybe that was your alarm letting you know the hour.
That was probably the ticking noise you got next to the
screen. Oh, yeah, okay.
Tick, 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 boom.
Yeah. But a fast hour. And again, thank you to Comic Related and Zone 4 for providing us with that venue. And I hope people really have fun with it. We're excited to do it. And that's it. Boom.
Awesome. And I'll talk more about all the other programming and stuff coming up towards the end of the show. But cool stuff coming up. And John and I are even doing a show together if we can get it worked out. So we'll see.
Yeah, make an agenda.
Yeah, definitely. Especially I think we're going to have to script ours, right, John?
Probably, yeah, because, we do have bad habits of going off on tangents and things like that. So.
Yeah, we're going to try to keep it to like a 30-minute thing. So.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because, the first thing you learn as a podcaster is, one, you learn to stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But then, learning to stretch also occasionally falls into rolling off on a tangent somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where, 2 hours later, you're still on your tangent.
Yeah. The problem is that the opposite side is learning to condense and tighten. And
well, that too.
That's a little harder.
Exactly.
As everybody that has ever listened to Zone 4 in the past 5.5 years knows very well.
Exactly.
We're not very good at that. But we're going to try to do better.
We just kind of quit doing that, actually. We just gave up on that a couple of years ago.
I know.
We're like, let it run.
I think we do try to keep it to about 90 minutes or less, usually. I say usually, and then we look back on those 2 and 3 hour episodes.
Well, that's when you're stuck in the editing bay for an extra amount of time, actually having to pull things out.
Right. That's when you make an outtakes episode.
Exactly.
So anybody watch any good TV or movies over the break?
TVs. I think we can all, the Flash and Peggy Carter have been a lot of fun.
Oh, really good. Especially the last couple of episodes have been kind of phenomenal. I'm really surprised that they've taken a character like Pied Piper, who on the Flash, obviously, if people don't know who that character is, and turned it from what's essentially, I would say, a B grade character, even with all the stuff they added onto his mythos in the recent years, but still kind of a B grade character, and really made him kind of someone of interest. Tying him so tightly in with the entire backstory of the show itself. So I was really, really impressed by that.
Yeah, I'm still a few episodes, at least 2 episodes behind on the Flash.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to. Not to spoil or anything, but you know that Piper's there.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard that it was a really good episode. So hearing you talk a little bit more about it makes me really want to watch it.
And again, without spoiling anything, this week's episode of The Flash had one of those little, epilogue kind of pieces that is not, is again, they keep sticking these little things in that, I'm guessing the epilogue they had last night, and I've said this all along, is going to be something they're going to be saving for like the last 2 shows of season 1. All right?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I was flying higher than a kite last night because it deals with my all-time favorite Flash villain. And the minute I saw what the epilogue was, I could not contain myself. I love this show. I think it's just so much fun.
Is it Gorilla Grodd?
Oh, see?
Well, yeah. Honestly, in the first episode, you knew Grodd was going to be there. I mean, they had his cage laying out, but let's just say he showed back up in a big way.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. And the other cool thing is they've started peppering in some later Flash references into the episodes. One is you're going to have to listen carefully during one of the scenes at Star Labs.
Okay.
And the other is kind of a semi-minor plot point in this most recent episode. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they did introduce a character who might mess up Barry's name. Might end up calling him Wally at some point.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, I was trying to be subtle about it, John.
Well, it was either that or call her Asian reporter. Whatever they call her on the Family Guy.
Thanks for spoiling it for Brant. Okay.
He knows.
Let me guess, Linda Park.
I can tell you. Hey, look, Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's just knocking it out.
It is a fantastic show. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Howlers being on last week. I mean.
Oh, it just gets better. And of course, when she opened up that vial and took the vial out, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, me too.
And I told it to my wife, and then the next scene comes up where she confronts Stark and belts him, and I'm going, that's Peggy, all right.
Well, and the thing, and this is, this might be a little controversial, I kind of agree with Howard on this. I mean, not telling her was very shady.
Yeah.
And he should have come clean with her right away on what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with him that what's in that vial, once again trying not to spoil, could have extreme benefits in the medical ways that he was laying out.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think he would necessarily, he might a little bit, but he won't necessarily try to use it purely for financial gain.
Right.
I mean, I think he does have, humanity's best interests in heart.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the first movie, you realize that over time, Howard Stark became, he came to respect Captain America.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was as much, he was as much in caring, as much in love, for lack of a better term, with Cap as Peggy is. I mean, that kind of relationship was there,
Right.
That kind of mutual respect and friendship and all that was there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do think Howard had the best interests at heart as far as, what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, I also kind of agree with her doing what she did as well with it, ultimately. Now, what concerns me, though, is this new character that's popped up with ties to Natasha. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
With ties to Natasha's, distant past, origins, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That, if she gets a hold of it, that's going to be a whole nother mess to deal with.
Right. Now, I'm just going to be curious, not so much for Peggy Carter, because we're, I love
we are coming to a close on that, though.
Yeah, we're coming to a close for the first storyline. And I hope the numbers are good enough that ABC is smart enough to bring it back again. Okay, it's just a lot of fun, and you know what? It works. It's that 1-2 punch because honestly, all right, I haven't missed Agent of Shields, and now that we're getting to the end of the Peggy Carter story, and now they're starting to hype. We're getting back to part 2 of the season. I'm starting to get excited to see what happens with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And in particular, we're getting news flashes. We're going to talk about this later in the agenda. But bringing back Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just about the time that we're going to be launching into Avengers Age of Ultron.
Right.
So, hey, Marvel and ABC got a really great 1-2 punch going. Please, just keep that going,
Yeah, it would seem that ABC really respects the show a lot more than they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they've been hyping the heck out of it. And they've been, it's prominently featured during a lot of their other shows, commercials and stuff for it. So
but let's put things in perspective. ABC is owned by Disney, which also owns Marvel.
Yeah.
I think because they don't, the thing that held up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was they couldn't really kick off until Captain America Winter Soldier. So now you don't have to worry about, there's no movie coming out until the summer. You don't have to worry about spoiling anything for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Agent Carter is its own thing.
Right.
And it kind of, the nice thing is it is so not steeped in Marvel lore in Marvel cinematic lore, the way that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of has to be. So it can, they can do the only thing I wish it had was this last episode was Peggy with the Howling Commandos. That's the show I want to see.
Yeah, me too, actually.
I'm not complaining because I love it to death. Especially this last episode because it's not just Peggy and the Howling Commandos, but I have a certain appreciation for the locker room scene. That's all I'm going to say.
That was good. And then the guy that I've come to identify as SSR Jerk, has turned out to be a much better, more in-depth character than I thought he would be.
With Chad Michael Murray.
Chad Michael Murray's character, Thompson, there's much more to him than I thought.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty much just SSR Jerk.
Right.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And even the chief is starting to have levels to him now.
Yeah.
That I wasn't expecting.
Was it the episode before last he went to the German prison?
Yeah.
Yeah. That showed a lot of stuff for both of those characters. That episode.
Well, yeah. His meeting with Jarvis.
Yeah.
And basically saying,
last week,
if you can contact Stark, and he's now realizing, that there's some subterfuge here, and Stark may be the patsy. And that line about, I'm only after the truth. And if Howard wants to talk, I'll listen to what he has to say. Right. It was a pivotal episode because prior to it going full tilt, we had that little tight between Peggy and Jarvis after last week's confrontation with Howard, where he's trying to make amends between the two of them, and she's not going to have any of it. Yeah. And that scene ends with him telling her, though, but boy, you really want to stick with this group of a-holes who don't value you, who don't appreciate you, don't blah, blah, blah. And then the whole show shifts where they have to, because she shows them what she can do. Yeah. It was a really well-constructed narrative, so that by the end of it, like we're talking about, she's slowly now getting that respect she deserves.
Yeah.
Well, there's a meme running around now. It's got Dum Dum Dugan saying, what would Cap say if I left his best girl behind? And the next thing is, do what Peggy says.
Yeah.
Right. She's saying, do what Peggy says.
Yeah.
So, it's, that was especially the face going, why isn't Peggy the one female Alien Commando here? Because this would work so much better.
True.
But it looks like, or at least I hope it's going to be this big change. I mean, seeing the previews for next week are going to throw a big old wrench into things. But
that said, I enjoy the format of the show. I mean, I get that point totally, but I love the supporting cast that she has too.
Oh yeah, I love this. I love Sosa.
Yeah,
or Sousa. I really like his character. I want to see that. I want to see that develop a lot more. Yeah. I find him a lot more interesting than pretty much anybody else on the show other than Agent Carter.
I really like the dynamic between her and Jarvis too.
Yeah, but he just seems to be the one genuine guy who isn't marred by the opinions of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That he's you're an agent, and as far as he sees it, Peggy's an agent, just like he is. Not an agent, or not a woman first, and then maybe an agent second.
Right. And I mean, I know she's like a minor character, but the roommate, or not roommate, but
the
waitress.
The waitress.
Yeah,
I love
like
that
her
kid.
too.
She's funny.
Yeah.
She's good for comic relief. I mean, she's really good for comic relief.
And she's really got the period down. Yeah, it's nice.
The kind of tough dame in New York thing going. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a wonderful show. Just dipping into what Ron kind of teased at for the Age of Ultron thing. There's rumor. I mean, this is unconfirmed, so I do want to stress that at this point. But there is rumor that was it Agent May Coulson? Well, Coulson's a given, and and Sky, or Daisy as they're calling her now. Could possibly be in Age of Ultron.
That would be interesting. I mean, well, we can jump right to it, essentially. I mean, Sky is Daisy Johnson. She's Quake from the comics now.
Right.
Or at least that's kind of the thing they're putting forward.
Right.
So it would make sense for her to be in with the Avengers.
Yeah.
It makes sense for her to be off with the Avengers because she does have a legitimate superpower.
Right.
Amen.
So,
there you go.
It also makes sense for this team to be in the Avengers movie because S.H.I.E.L.D. has been a part of all these movies. So.
And it's about time for the Avengers to find out that Coulson's alive.
Right. Yeah.
Right, which could be a real big scene in Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
It could even be a catalyst for some of the stuff we've been seeing in some of the trailers.
Possibly, possibly, because you've got Fury and you've got Maria Hill just hanging out socially with the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it would make sense that. Well, it kind of makes sense to me that Maria Hill's kind of already let Stark know that Coulson's alive, since through the mythos of the movie, she is working for him now. So.
Right, but then we have that whole thing going on in Winter Soldier,
right?
Where Steve, is at that point where what kind of an age am I in, where everybody lies to everybody else,
right?
And then we have Age of Ultron, and Coulson shows up. Oh, he's going to be so
Steve's
happy
gonna lose it.
Fury.
Yeah.
Well, something to keep in mind, guys. In one of the trailers, you actually hear Voltron say, "I'm going to tear you apart from the inside."
Yeah,
exactly.
So I think what a lot of people may be interpreting that as, okay, I'm going to cause you physical pain by tearing you apart. I think from what I've read and seen of the movie, he's playing more mind games. So I think there is the setup for, I'm going to tear this team apart from the. I mean, if the movie has scenes of Iron Man battling Hulk, you know that there's some kind of manipulation going on.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory about that, though. I'm not sure that Tony's in the Hulkbuster armor.
Oh.
Because they haven't, they've shown him in the armor. They've shown him with an interface in front of his face.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not sure that the Hulkbuster armor isn't Ultron controlled in that particular scene.
That's possible.
And that would be part of the whole mind games thing.
Right, exactly.
If Ultron gets into the Hulkbuster armor, it kind of makes sense that Tony's being set up.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've read, and this is pure speculation, BS, shenanigans will be called, is that someone pointed out that in one of the descriptions for the Age of Ultron, it talks about Tony Stark reviving an old defense program rather than Tony Stark creating a defense program. Mm-hmm. The idea being that Hank Pym and Ant-Man actually created it, and that kind of leads to the Tony Stark didn't create Ultron. All he did was revive him. So
Well,
like I said, shenanigans will be called.
I'm kind of hoping they do that anyway, because I always thought it was a little shady that they were making Tony the creator of Ultron to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just think it would take a couple of lines of dialogue or exposition or something to make it Hank Pym's thing. Because they are establishing Hank Pym as being part of the universe prior to the creation of the Avengers.
Right.
So I like the idea you just put forth that Tony revived the Hank Pym Ultron protocols, or maybe accidentally did it as part of something he was doing with Jarvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it also makes sense because given some of the dialogue in the trailer, like Ultron saying, you know, you want to make the world a better place, but you don't want it. You want to save the world, but you don't want it to actually change.
Right.
And there's one where I think it's Cap saying something like, "This is a strange world we're in," or that, you know, this world needs something bigger to defend it. So I think they may be. It could even be something as simple as, you know, Stark's at a screen and it says Ultron created by Hank Pym, declassified, blah blah blah.
Right.
Which would, yeah, like you guys said, would be a really nice little thing for the fans.
Yeah. Or maybe even something, you know, with them trying to bolster S.H.I.E.L.D. back up after, you know, the destruction of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Winter Soldier, that they accidentally come across this, you know, AI or something that was deep within S.H.I.E.L.D. files, and then somehow they hand it over to Stark, or they activate it, Stark tries to fix it, but ends up screwing it up, and, you know, whatever. But yeah, I find it really interesting.
Well, I think I'm wondering if it's going to be a case of the Avengers say, okay, there's no more S.H.I.E.L.D., so let's do this instead. And then, oops, not only do they revive Ultron, but, it's the bleep moment.
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually a going thing that they did not know about. Because again, I think, and you look at the slate of Marvel films, I mean, if it's leading up to Captain America's Civil War, that would be a really good cause for concern, which is, you know, you've got Captain America saying, why do people lie to each other? Why can't we be honest? And Tony Stark saying, well, sometimes you have to lie, you have to be deceptive. Right. And that would also kind of tie into the whole idea that Howard Stark was lying about Peggy Carter's, you know, without spoiling, what's in the vial.
Right.
You know.
Right. Now let me ask you guys this, okay? Because I mean, obviously, Age of Ultron. I mean, all the focus. I mean, the primary visual focus for the trailers and the rumors and all the speculations.
Yeah.
All right, it's basically the primary plot is the Avengers and new characters taking on this you know, robot who wants to rule the world. Okay, well and good, but the thing that I'm curious about is because, again, each film following as they have and the way they've set themselves up. You know, after Winter Soldier, my thing is, well, is Hydra going to have a presence in Avengers 2? Because, I mean, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D's destroyed, sure. It's destroyed because Hydra destroyed it. They haven't gone away either. Will they have any kind of repercussions in what happens in Age of Ultron?
Well, they'll have to, because Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were being held by oh God, what's his name?
Baron
Blood.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Baron Stryker's, you know, his faction of Hydra.
Yeah.
Right.
He may not be in on or privy to all the stuff that's going on with the larger Hydra.
Yeah.
But
And
he's still Hydra.
From what I've heard, isn't it true to form that Quicksilver and Scarlet actually start off as villains in the movie?
Probably, yeah.
More or less.
Probably, yeah, because you, with the exception of a few still photos here and there, you don't have them hanging around with the other Avengers that much.
Right.
I mean, you have Wanda coming out of a door throwing a hex bolt. You've got Quicksilver running around. but you don't really see them running around with anybody. So that's a definite possibility. I also think it's a definite possibility this movie will not have a happy ending. And it will be the opening for Civil War.
Right.
Yeah, well, considering like we're talking about, seeing Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, and I would say, we won't see that change of allegiance until at least towards the end of the second half of the film, maybe even the third reel, for sure, because there's so much going on, including the birth of the Vision.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is this, a 3-hour movie?
Probably.
Oh my God. Not that I'd mind that, mind you.
I mean, that's the norm these days, is a 3-hour movie. So,
Yeah, I mean, it used to be that, like, for comedies it was 90 minutes. For theatrical films it was like 2 hours. But it's starting to, curse you, Peter Jackson. Because it's like,
exactly.
This will be like a 2-hour and 10-minute movie without the deleted scenes. And that'll be... but part of it is the way that movies are made now. It's not like you go see the movie and then maybe luckily later on you get it on DVD. This drives DVDs and streaming and all that other fun stuff.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's like if you ever watch, Turner Classic Movies, and that's what Gordon just said. And to me, I marvel at that, all right? I mean, they made literally thousands of movies in the 30s and 40s that were like 70 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were movies. They had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they were well constructed,
I'm beginning to think movies need an intermission again.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ever want a really good book about the economics of how movies are made, there's a book called The Hollywood Economist by a guy named, his last name is Epstein, and he talks about what goes into funding movies, and also how the funding of movies can lead to casting. So it's like in the 80s, the reason why action movies were so big in this country, they're easier to sell overseas. And so, and so you're dealing with distribution rights, you're dealing with kind of other issues as well. So for those of you listening, it's an actual book. Now, it's got text, no pictures.
With pages.
With pages. And I think you might be able to get it on Kindle, but or electronic. But The Hollywood Economist. Read that, and so before you start wearing your little anti-Ben Affleck T-shirts and whatnot, read that and be frickin' informed before you shoot your mouth off.
Yeah, indeed. But honestly, I think that's I think that will be the norm these days, because like you said, it was unheard of as early as maybe 15 years ago to have a movie that went over 2.5 hours. That was considered an epic,
Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I think Dances with Wolves maybe is the one that I think of that really exceeded what was quote unquote a normal time frame.
Yeah, and Titanic, obviously.
Well, and Titanic,
a little bit later, yeah.
Yeah, but
right, but those
I think
were
that's
the exceptions, and they were like, and there was a lot of promotion.
Yeah.
Those
now
were
the
epics.
rule.
Yeah, they were epics. Today, the average movie does that. It's like, okay. Crazy.
Yeah, like I said, I think movies do need intermissions again, because I know I've been to movies when I do actually go to a theater to see a movie these days. It's like a constant stream of little ants going up and down the stairs. Because nobody.
What movies need to do? They need to quit showing all those damn commercials before the movie.
Tell me about it.
The previews I don't mind. But
they also, movies need better editors, because a lot of times those 2.5+ movies have real stretches that are frickin' boring. And we're not talking about,
tell me about it.
What's a shame is, and I really hate to say this because it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment, that's why I love the Fast and the Furious movies. They're much shorter, but they know how to get through a story.
They were fast.
It's like, the old writers thing about kill your darlings?
Yeah.
That's what filmmakers need to do. Tell the freaking story, get rid of the bloat.
Yeah, well, now these things are breaking books up into 2 movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll just say it, and I'm sure it's going to piss people off, but I went to see the previous Hunger Games movie, and
which was the first half of the third book. Yeah.
The first half of the third book. I was bored to tears. There was so much, just people standing around talking.
Yeah,
nothing. I mean, literally nothing happening, but people standing around talking. I'm like, my God, I mean, I don't mind a talking head movie if it's something that advances the plot.
That's not in an action movie series.
Right. But they spent 20 minutes looking for the little girl who just went down to get her dog or something. I'm like, what the hell, people?
Yeah, no, I wasn't as bored by it as you are, but I do totally get your point. The first two movies had
they actually
a nice
had
progression.
Flow. There was flow there,
Yeah, because you went from the build up to the slower thing to the action, and then a slower moment at the end. Both of them worked that way.
Yeah.
This one, where they did split it up, it was like the whole movie was the slow part, and then like the very end was getting into the action part, the middle of the movie, basically. So
yeah, and even where they shot down the planes, it was, I mean, that's it. We shoot down a couple of planes. That's our big action piece of the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, hey, don't get me going about young adult turning into series now, because I mean that's such the hot flavor of the month.
It's trying to recreate Harry Potter.
Look, I haven't seen Hunger Games. I have absolutely no desire to see Hunger Games
movies.
Hey,
Ron, let me interject with the fact that I think part of the issue with young adults is that people look at, I would say, see the first Hunger Games movie because it's a good kind of action adventure-y thing. The problem is, I think so many movies are filmed so many people say, hey, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, let's be like that rather than their own thing. Because there are so many bad knockoffs.
Well,
and the sad thing is that style of filmmaking is actually, they're using it for stuff where it doesn't apply. You've talked about how you liked Ender's Game, the movie Ender's Game.
Right.
I thought that movie sucked on toast. And it wasn't the script. It was some of the acting, because it was Harrison Ford getting his paycheck and Ben Kingsley continuing the scenery chewing that he started in Iron Man 3. Yeah, and Ben, you can't do an Australian accent either. But it was shot in such a boring... There are some great ideas in it, but it's shot in that kind of boring, let's be... We're young and we're going through these big emotional things. It's shot in such a crappy way that I thought that movie stunk on toast.
Okay, now look good. Without getting into this whole thing about defending Ender's Game to that point, the one thing you have to give Ender's Game, okay, and that's what I was going to bring up here, talking about all these series things, all right? Ender's Game was a book, all right? It was a single book. It had a beginning, a middle, and end, and the people who adapted it to film did that. So whether you like the movie or you don't like the movie, there's this sense of completion. You see the film and you come out of the theater, you've seen it, you've had the experience. Now, about, I want to say 3 weeks ago, my wife and I are scrolling through cable, looking to find something on television. And lo and behold, what do we see but this other would-be Hunger Game, all right? Divergent. So now let me, so with knowing nothing, absolutely nothing about this, right? My wife goes, what do you think? I said, well, it's sci-fi to a degree. It's based on young adults. I said, let's give it a shot. So we start watching it. We get engrossed in the story. We get engrossed in the characters. We start following it along. The movie's your typical, like, almost 2 hours long. So we do like an hour and 45 minutes, right? When all of a sudden you get the climax. It's just like totally truncated and shoved at you. Mm-hmm. Boom, 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 boom. And the movie's done. Now my wife looks at me and goes, what the hell just happened? She goes, they didn't resolve half the plot. I said, I know, and the movie's done. Now, without realizing it, and I'm thinking to myself, don't tell me this is another one of them dumb series. Because because you don't know. I mean, I didn't read the books. You don't know. if standalone, this should, even if it is a series, should have had a satisfying end.
Right.
It did not. It was the worst.
No.
Shoved down your throat. Let's wrap this up. We're done. So sure enough, we go to a movie the other day to see another film, and we're watching the trailers. And what do I see? Insurgent.
Yeah.
And we both looked at each other and went, "Oh yeah, okay." I mean,
that's why I couldn't hold back my laughter.
Hey, look, if you're going to do a series of films and whatever, I'm sorry, all right, but learn how to write, learn how to tell a story as a whole that doesn't depend on volume 2, 3, 4, and 5 down the line, especially the first one, all right? I mean, you can do the series. Star Wars did it. Everybody does. But, your first one out of the chute, have a satisfying ending. Come on,
Yeah, and that's where I would argue, and I know we've got a whole agenda we need to touch, where I think Hunger Games is different, because that first book, you can read the book, or you can see the movie, and it's a good standalone movie.
Mm-hmm. Good.
You don't need to see... I like Catching Fire, but you can stop at Hunger Games. And
yeah.
What I think happened is people said, hey, that's where we need to write to earn the money, rather than, hey, maybe I should write what I want to write. And I concede your point about Ender's Game. I think what happened was the people who adapted it didn't think, hey, this is a big enough movie that we can do a mature movie on it. It was, hey, we can do this for the young adult crowd. So I'm not arguing the value of the book. What I'm saying is I think the way they approached the material was just the wrong way to do it. They said, hey, we can make this into a Hunger Games rather than, let's just do Ender's Game. This is a good enough movie this is a good enough concept to do on its own.
It should have been. It should have been, because I liked the movie. I thought it was a little too CGI heavy, but I did like the movie. I do think that they sandwiched that ending in there. And that they left it way too open. They could have had a much more satisfying resolution. But I honestly think with all these young adult movies, there is a series on YouTube called Cinema Sins. I think people should go watch those before they go watch the movie. Because with a lot of these young adult movies, now there's another series called Maze Runner.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And it's another one of those young adult, hot guy, hot girl, young whatever things. That they're all following this formula now, because it's the big thing right now. It's it's apocalyptic planet Earth, whatever, and mean adult government versus the teen pseudo rebellion kind of the young kids can fix this sort of thing. That's kind of the thing they're going with now. So, and you start to see, once you start to see enough of these things back to back, that it's all honestly the same story.
Right. And let me just suggest, if you listeners and my fellow hosts are feeling curmudgeonly, read a really good piece about this called The Death of Adulthood by a man named A.O. Scott.
Oh, I've heard of that, actually, yeah.
And see, I wanted to see Maze Runner, and now I'm not so sure.
Go watch the Cinema Sin first, then see if you still want to watch it.
Okay.
You don't.
What a mess. But anyway, we've tarried here a while.
How about that Fantastic Four trailer?
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, I mean, if anything's going to convince me not to see that movie, keep making them trailers.
Yeah, there's teaser trailers, and then there's, I don't know what that was, but
I mean, they put I get that they're sort of supposed to be astronauts of some sort, but they put them in these pods that look like they came from
tanning booths.
The suspended animation, tanning booths. But I was going to say the suspended animation section of Sears, and. What does that have to do with their space flight or the powers or anything? Even in the still image, I'm not terribly sure that Ben is wearing pants.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this: if you did not know that this was a Fantastic Four movie, after watching this teaser trailer, would you know?
I still wouldn't know.
That's my point.
I still wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, I would think this was. I would think this was like Insurgent or Inception Part 2 or something.
Yeah.
You know what this is? This is the young adult version of Fantastic Four. And I need to go wash my mouth out with soap.
It's YAFF.
The word Fantastic Four.
Here we go.
It's YAFF. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
We tied it all together.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's the sad but true fact. And I mean, I know they're pulling from the Ultimate Universe, but it's still, it needs to be recognizable at the very least. And without seeing the Thing, even knowing it's a Fantastic Four movie, it didn't look like a Fantastic Four movie to me.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Here's my thinking. And again, shenanigans will be called. There's a big hubbub about Marvel canceling the Fantastic Four comic.
Mm-hmm.
One of our items on the agenda is the Secret Wars, which is looking to be a kind of rethinking of the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the reason they canceled it was they thought, hey, we're going to change their origin to reflect this movie or the concepts in here to make it more like the Ultimate Universe. Just a thought. Again, shenanigans can be called.
Yeah, I have a different theory. I think they canceled Fantastic Four because they wanted to distance themselves from this mess.
Maybe, and yeah, it's the same reason. I don't know if you guys are aware, but they're retconning Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch to where Magneto is not their father.
Right, and I think, well, in Avengers, they can't obviously even call them mutant.
Right, so, it has a lot to do with Fox having the movie rights to those properties. But this one in particular, it's funny because I was reading before this trailer came out, recently, it was either the producers or the studio or somebody was unhappy with the script, and this movie's, like, done. It's almost ready to get, they were asking for rewrites and reshoots. Already, I mean, it's just...
right. I read the same thing. Yeah. I mean, look, one of the things after seeing the trailer on Facebook and all over the internet, I logged on one night and a good friend of mine who's a diehard comic collector, an old time comic collector from way back, and I mean, to me, he just nailed it totally. All right, I mean, he just posted and said, yeah, that's what you get when you get a bunch of young producers who think they know better than Jack Kirby and Stan Lee.
Exactly.
There you go.
And here's the thing. I've seen Chronicle. I would kill to see a Fantastic Four movie by Josh Trank who shot in that style. Right. And I'm not a big fan of found footage movies either. I would kill to see that. And we've got a movie named Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That is shot by Josh Trank. And that's not the movie that I see in my head. I mean, I kind of go, I'm sure that if it were different names and a different concept, I might go, yeah, I'm on board. But with that name, no.
Well, we all hit it smack on the head when we started talking about this film, okay? Because, come on, let's be honest here. The original Fantastic Four from issue number 1, all right, has 4 primary characters, all right? Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm, all right? Of the 4 in the original comic book, 3 are adults.
Mm-hmm.
1 is a young person. 1 is a teenager. Now we got 4 tweens. They're in their early 20s.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh? And this is what this is about. They're turning this into another young adult perspective. That's their target audience. They're going for college kids and whatever, and screw the old comic, fans and whatever. Yeah. They don't care if we like it or not.
Well, I mean...
Well, the big...
Well, let me just interject.
Go ahead.
That is the Ultimate Universe. They start off as younger kids when they come together. That's where that comes from, just so you know. Go ahead.
Yeah, but still... Go ahead, Gordon.
Well, I was about to say, to Ron's point, it'd be one thing if you made 3 of them in their late 20s, early 30s, and one of them a teenager, maybe late 20s. Because then you can play with the idea that, okay, they're not, you don't have one guy in his 40s, a woman in her 30s. You don't have two guys, you can play with that. I think when you make them all young, what you're doing is you're kind of saying is the whole thing about the Fantastic Four is they're not superheroes. They're kind of like a family that does sciencey things in the Marvel universe.
Right.
What this turns it into
They're
is
explorers.
Yeah. These are 4 kids who become superheroes, and it doesn't quite match. I mean, I'd much rather, if you want a good Fantastic Four movie, the 2 that came out early on by Fox, with the guy from Forever and Jessica Alba and Michael.
Yeah.
Those are much better Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
Well, two things on this. One, I immediately knew this was in trouble when the guy playing Johnny Storm said that they are going to look at their powers as disabilities that they have to overcome.
Yeah.
Or that they have to learn to live with. I knew that was going to be the big problem. But completely taking out all the, everything about it, all the foreknowledge of characters and everything else, they really messed up in how they did this teaser trailer. Now, think of the teaser trailer for Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
How we had images of people and things like that, but how that through line was that very kind of spooky singing of "I've got no strings on me,"
Mm-hmm.
And how it came from Ultron, and it was all very kind of tense and intense. And once you realized who he was, you were like, "Oh bloody hell, these guys are in trouble."
Yep.
I look at this trailer and, Gordon, you said this isn't a movie you see in your head. I can't build a movie out of what they gave me.
Right.
It is such desperate images, or disparate images, I meant to say, and sort of desperate, but disparate images that, without foreknowledge of the Fantastic Four, I would literally have no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And, if you take out that foreknowledge, it's just, it just seems like a bunch of random images threw together. None of these people look like they belong together, even as humans. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
you've got Reed Richards, the kid who's playing Reed Richards, and then you've got Kate Mara who's playing Sue Storm. Kate Mara's got a good 10 years on this kid.
Yeah.
So, it just doesn't make visual sense, for one thing. And then when you do add all the extra stuff, all the foreknowledge, it doesn't make logical sense.
Right.
Well, it's funny, too, because one of the plot points people have pointed out, Sue Storm's white, Johnny Storm's black. How can they be brother and sister? Well, in this movie, and I'm just reporting, according to the script, she was actually adopted by Johnny's family.
Right.
Okay, I was figuring there was adoption there somewhere.
Yeah.
That wasn't my hang-up about
Yeah,
this,
but no.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, John.
But it is a lot of people's hang-up, yeah.
You know what this is? I think this is, I know Mark Millar
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
was brought in, hired by Fox to be their Marvel guy. I'm really hoping, and I've said this on the show before, I'm hoping his intention that they screw this up so badly that Marvel takes the right, they just give the rights back to Marvel. because and I know he's defended this movie, and it's like, this movie is just, first off, their publicity department needs to tell the actors to keep their mouth shut.
Oh, God, yes.
Secondly, it's like, if you're going to adapt a comic, at least understand not just the big stuff, but what makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what makes the Fantastic Four work is you have the cerebral guy, the woman who is kind of caring for her brother, who kind of likes the cerebral guy, and who's trying to find her own identity but is always invisible.
She's kind of the matron.
Yeah.
Well,
you've got the
that too.
big lug who's like, dude, you need to put the shielding up because the space radiation's going to get us. And you need the young kid who's like, come on, bring it, I'm a young, reckless kid.
Right.
This doesn't have all that.
Yeah.
It's just 4 kids going on. It's like, but cast us as the Fantastic Four. Hell, I'll play Sue Storm. That would be a better movie.
Honestly, it would, and you'd probably look better in the outfit. But
Wow.
But the thing is, and I can't remember the story, or I can't remember what FF book it was in. But it was like the backstory of a book, and it was Cosmos and Kismet grabbed the Fantastic Four for a few minutes, and they took away their primary personality trait. And behind Reed's intelligence, he's really kind of hot-headed and wanting to fight. And he's much more Ben-like than he lets on. Sue has this strength that when they popped her into the malice thing for a while, and the hard-ass Sue popped out. Mm-hmm. That's that kind of thing. She has this strength of character that, you don't get to see very much in a lot of the roles. And Johnny's a lot more cerebral than he lets on. And Ben's a lot more, caring and, kind of emotional and, for lack of a better word, mothering than you would think of a 7-foot-tall rock guy. Mm-hmm. So, it was a really interesting story, and it's those kind of character traits that these 4 characters will never be able to pull off.
True.
In their entire lives, they'll never be able to pull those off, let alone, within the confines of this one movie.
Right.
It's just not there. They didn't build them like that, and I honestly wonder if they really look, even, this being the Ultimate Universe, I wonder if they looked at any of the Ultimate Universe books, or we're just given like a synopsis of each character, and then, the scriptwriters built their film around some, half-assed synopsis that someone gave them of, oh, these are, the characters and their motivations and whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you build a film on. I mean, if you take, this and compare it to the earlier films, which weren't great, they were fun, but admittedly they had problems. But, when you compare
the characters, what you just talked about, though, John, but the characters are recognizable.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Chiklis's Ben Grimm was Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
And even when he was saying clobbering time, that mothering instinct to protect his family was always there.
Yeah.
Those are the layers that we're talking about that make good characters.
Yeah.
And I don't see them in these characters yet. That's what makes me wonder if they even built them into these characters.
Right.
Because I don't, obviously it's only a teaser trailer. We haven't seen that much. But, if this was a property that I actually loved, I would be so sad right now. I'm sort of ambivalent about the FF one way or the other. I'd just be distraught to see this as an FF.
Well, let's be honest here. There is so much coming out this year.
Yeah.
That I'm really not crying a tear that this is going to be one I pass on.
Right.
Because I'm probably going to need a break anyways.
Yeah. Right.
The sad thing is a teaser trailer is supposed to whet your appetite, so when you see the full trailer, you go, oh, wow, I want to see this. I look at this and I go, I want to avoid this frickin' movie like the plague.
Yeah. No. We talked about this on Frontline a little bit. Have you ever seen, because they did this with this film, have you ever seen when a teaser trailer comes out that there is a link directly to a director's commentary explaining the teaser trailer and the film and the motivation behind it?
Yeah.
As the trailer releases. I've never seen it done before.
No, because you don't have to usually.
Exactly.
The teaser trailer is supposed to be enough to get you interested. Yeah. The fact that directors have to explain himself, unless he's going to be sitting right next to us in the theater, that's not going to help.
Yeah.
And plus, to be clear, nobody cares about the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
The teaser trailer is a teaser.
Right.
It's there in the title. You want the commentary for the full movie, Because then he can say, well, we chose this piece for the trailer. All a teaser doing a commentary for a teaser trailer, to me, that just makes you look more like a pretentious jerk.
Or like you have no confidence whatsoever in the teaser trailer to begin with.
He's broken the first rule of writing.
Yeah.
He's not showing it, he's saying it.
Right.
Yep.
His teaser trailer should be showing what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because if you have to explain the joke, it wasn't funny.
Yep.
If you have to explain the trailer, it wasn't good.
Exactly.
Hey, can we talk about something more pleasant?
Yeah, let's move along,
do it.
please.
like the casting of the
Anything?
new live-action Teen Titans.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Weird but interesting. Yeah.
It is weird, but and it's still weird to me that this is going to be on TNT because it just I
no doubt.
can't imagine how it works on TNT. But
Well, they know drama. But
nice.
I mean, look, the choice of characters, I was scratching my head here. All right.
Okay.
I mean, really, and we're bringing back Oracle. I mean, we haven't seen Oracle since Birds of Prey lasted one season, for Pete's sakes,
Yeah.
So,
from other things it's not in this article, but from other things I've heard from others or read, it's like she's going to be in that Oracle role, but she's not going to be called Oracle. So it's kind of weird. I don't know why she's not called that, but that's
why
that's her
wouldn't you
character.
call her that?
Yeah.
Well, just for those who aren't familiar, I think the characters are
Sure.
Nightwing,
Right.
Oracle, Hawk, Dove, Raven, and who am I missing?
Starfire.
Starfire. Now, I'm thinking certain ones are left out because I could see not rights issues, but trying to avoid continuity. Like you don't want to bring Arsenal in,
Right.
even though he'd be a natural.
Yeah.
Cyborg, I'm thinking they probably are leaving with the movies because they positioned him as the big. Beast Boy, I'm thinking, do they, maybe from a special effects standpoint.
Right.
Um,
Kid Flash, obviously, because they have
the Flash, yeah.
right.
Right.
All right.
But I'm also thinking, like, if you have Nightwing, why do you need Oracle?
Right. Unless they're going to play up that relationship.
Right.
Right. Well, not even that. If you have Nightwing, why do you need someone like Hawk?
True.
Well, that's only
Or,
because
why
others
even the
are all
male?
female, and
Yeah.
you got to have one more guy.
Well,
That's true. Yeah.
Honestly,
Wow. I just realized
just
that.
Two guys and 4 girls.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Wow.
honestly, I'd be just as happy if they had the female Hawk, just had Nightwing, and just switched the name to Birds of Prey.
Yeah. It does feel very much more like Birds of
It
Prey
feels
than
a
it
lot
does Teen
more like
Titans.
Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
This is a question, and it may be, I may be coming out of left field. Is this live action series supposed to tie in somehow to the movie slate that DC has? Or is it his own thing?
I believe that they've
Don't
stated
know.
that their TV, their movies, and their animation are all completely
All
separate
separate.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're doing the
Okay.
exact opposite of Marvel.
Exactly. Right.
Right.
So that's why we're going to have 2 different Flashes. We're going to have one on
Right.
TV and one in the movies.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have the cool Flash and the hipster Flash.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We have to, I have to wonder why, if they are planning to do with Titans, I mean, if this is supposed to be Teen Titans, first off, none of these characters are teenaged. Secondly, why didn't they delve further back into Titans lore to get characters instead of sandwiching Hawk and Dove in there?
Well, Hawk and Dove were technically on the team at one point.
They were, but, very kind of,
It was pretty much...
tangentially,
Yeah.
It was pretty much Steve Ditko didn't want to draw them anymore, so it's like, okay, we need to put Pooh Peep on the slot. Yeah, Hawk and Dove. Let's let Hank and Don argue for a while.
Yeah.
It's the 70s.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And look, okay, I mean, when this whole thing was even announced as happening, I mean, this is just me, okay, guys, but considering everything that's out there today, in film and on television, whatever, all right, my immediate thought was, do we really need Teen Titans? I mean, I would have been really happy with a Nightwing series.
Yeah, just by itself would have been. I
Yeah.
think would have been brilliant.
Totally. Dick Grayson, in Bloodhaven. I would have loved that.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the mileage they're getting out of Gotham, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah, and you
And
could throw Barbara Gordon into that.
Yeah, exactly. It would make
Or-
sense for
or
her to
if
be
you-
Oracle.
Yeah, or if you're going to do like a series on TNT, and I know this is going to sound like it's coming from left field again, you do a Hawk and Dove series, and you kind of do it as a kind of metaphor for what's going on in culture right now. The whole one side, he's extreme into violence and things need to get done, and she's into being peace and relational and all that stuff. But a Teen Titans thing, I look at DC and I go, are there like two people who just aren't talking?
Yeah.
Because it just seems
probably.
like, now is this series supposed to tie in with like the other series like Flash and Supergirl and?
I don't know, because they didn't.
How could it?
They did mention that Supergirl, even though it's on CBS, could tie into Flash and Arrow. So it's quite possible that they could be tying. I mean, they probably own all the networks. Obviously, it's Turner Network Television, it's TNT. So, which is Time Warner.
I don't know if the same company that owns CW. I don't know if Time Warner owns TNT.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe
We
not.
need to find that out.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it does, because isn't TNT still owned by Turner?
Maybe, but isn't Turner? It's Time Warner, right? Isn't Turner
I
tied
don't know.
into Time Warner or something? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I have to look.
But to go back to my original thing, why not delve further back into the thing? Other than Hawk and Dove, Jericho would be a much
Right.
very easy character to do.
Or even Ravager, if you want to go that route.
Or even Ravager, but to add more men into it.
True. Yeah.
Jericho would be a very, very visually easy character to do.
Yeah.
His eyes glow, the Contact's eyes glow, the Contact starts beating up his buddies.
Okay.
Easy character to do.
Real quick.
Red Star for that matter would be easy.
Yeah, just real quick on the other thing. The CW is a sister channel of TNT. So.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, there you go.
There you go. So that's all. Continue. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but-
I didn't mean to interrupt. you.
No. I'm sorry. It just seems like there would be so many better characters.
Yeah.
Nothing against Hawk and Dove.
Right.
The fact that they went for the Dawn Granger Dove.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gordon said, I'd almost rather see Hank and Dan argue,
You know what?
or Hank and Don rather
Right.
argue than have, or if they're going to go with the female Dove, why not go back to the female Hawk?
Well, here's an idea, and I think the CW their audience tends to be mostly one demographic,
Right.
and shows like Flash, Arrow, and Supernatural appeal to a different slightly different demographic.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
They're
I'm wondering if TNT, by the way that they're stacking it as being female heavy, nothing wrong with that. But I wonder if they're trying to go, hey, look, we know that Flash, Arrow, and Supernatural have this heavy male demographic. We want them to tune into TNT, which is mostly Law and Order reruns, to the best of my knowledge. Maybe we can bring them over by doing it so female heavy, so that it's, because when you think Starfire, you don't think Felicity Smoke. That's all I'm going to say.
True.
Yeah, true.
But at the same time, TNT is where Leverage was, Falling Skies.
Yeah.
Dark Blue. It's all these drama. Like
It's kind
John
of
said,
the experimental drama channel.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it does cover a wider demographic, but it's not. It's definitely not just a female audience.
I just thought of the ultimate male that they forgot.
Who's that?
Aqualad.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't. I was like, oh yeah, definitely got Aqualad.
I mean, you could even make him Tempest
Right.
if you wanted to kind of take him out of the Aqua thing, because obviously Aquaman on the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
But
Well,
And actually, if you're going to develop like another DC a separate property for TNT, it would be a better fit? The Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Because you could do it as kind of a, and eons ago we did our Nolan take on DC characters, so kids start going back in the archives, because I called it. That would be a much better fit.
Yeah,
Because then you could also do it. You also do it as the as the concept that the Fantastic Four movie is missing by a mile. The dysfunctional family of superheroes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
oh, go ahead, John. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna add to that. If you think about their powers, the powers of the original Doom Patrol, once again, pretty much all your CG is going to deal with Elastigirl.
Yeah.
And Negative Man.
And one little aspect of Negative Man.
Right.
I mean, Robot Man, obviously, he could be CG or it could be,
motion capture.
Capture, guy in a suit, whatever.
Right.
Very true.
Whatever they did for Iron Man, and if you had to wedge Mento in there, and not get him confused.
Fresh maker.
I was about to say, and not get him confused with the fresh mints there. It's just a guy with a colander on his head,
right?
Exactly. Thinking at things.
I'm looking back over this, and you guys mentioned Birds of Prey. I'm wondering if maybe they wanted to do Birds of Prey, but they didn't want to associate it with the previous Birds of Prey television show.
Yeah, they just didn't want to say Birds of Prey on it because
go ahead.
It looks like Birds of Prey.
Yeah, so they just threw Starfire and Raven in there, to make it Teen Titans related.
Right.
And because it's kind of weird because the Teen Titans book, since the New 52 specifically, has been terrible. It's been like one of the worst books. They've already canceled it like twice.
Yeah. And they don't know how to write for it anymore. I don't think they know how to write for teens anymore. I mean, calling this group the Teen Titans is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Calling them the Titans would make a lot more sense.
Because,
and you know what's really sad about all this is that Marvel in its cinematic universe and its comic stuff is doing a better job of being DC Comics than DC Comics is.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. I mean, honestly, looking at these 4 pictures, Raven's going to have to be the young girl in this film, or in this show.
Yeah. She's
going to have to be the young teenage, angsty, obviously, girl in this show. And I hope to God the guy they get for Hawk doesn't look like a Robert Layfield drawing, but
oh, he will.
He will. But I have no problem with Oracle being on this. But obviously Oracle's an adult, and they're going to have to tell the backstory.
Right.
They're going to have to connect it to the Batman universe somehow, whether they want to or not, because you have 2 Batman characters on this thing.
Yeah.
Is this a Berlanti production?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I would assume, but I'm not sure. And it does say at the bottom of this article they might bring in Cyborg and Beast Boy later. But, why not bring in a character like Cyborg now, who's, one, very visually interesting. Yep. Secondly, African American, so diversity.
Yep.
Automatic diversity. And, you could even do him the way they did him on Smallville. Right. Which was, a cool and kind of interesting take on it. But yeah, you've got this guy who's basically a one-note tank, because that's all Hawk ever was to me. Yep. He was a tank in a big red costume.
Yeah.
And reading the article, they're gonna have to do something about the costumes because those costumes are ridiculous. And they're definitely going to have to do something about Starfire's costume because her costume is pornographic. So
right.
even for TNT,
speaking of DC costumes, has anyone seen that photo of Brandon Routh that's been going around?
Oh yes,
Adam.
Yeah. Oh yes.
What do you guys think?
Poor Brandon. Yeah, let's get the tallest guy we know and put him in the Atom costume.
It looks like a Halo suit.
It does.
It really does. It looks like
my thought is shrink him quick.
Shrink him real quick.
quick.
It's they're trying to go the Iron Man route with it, I think.
Oh, they are.
And I'm kind of wondering, I know maybe you guys know more spoilers than I do. Is it supposed to shrink or is it just like generic battle costume?
No, they're saying it's going to shrink.
Yeah.
I hope it's going to shrink. Otherwise, calling him the Atom is a little...
No, there's already been mention. And man, you got to pay attention, boy, because what's been happening with Arrow this year and Katana and all the others.
I'm so far behind on Arrow.
There's a point where he talks, Palmer talks to Felicity, and he needs her help, and he mentions a dwarf star.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
gets-
the North Star alloy. I know that.
Yeah, he mentions. Okay, so you know that I'm almost getting a sense, and this is me going out on a limb now. Okay, I'm almost getting a sense that Palmer doesn't get the dwarf star element, what it will do, and he's basically doing a Man of War or Iron Man thing to be a hero, and when he turns it on, the shrinking is going to catch him by surprise.
Yeah, it'll freak him out. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be what. It's going to be like the first half hour of The Incredible Shrinking Man or something that he's going to.
That's what I see happening. That's my thoughts.
I just hope the collective Arrow audience doesn't go, and that's the moment they jump the shark.
Yeah, well, that's my worry, you know, because, I mean, on Flash, they have done so well with superpowers.
Right.
I mean, they've just killed it in showing that you can make a decent superpowered show.
And they've shown that it can actually fit in the grounded world of Arrow in a way.
Right. Yeah. In a way, occasionally.
Right.
But bringing someone with obvious superpowers that is a regular character on Arrow, that may be the time they need to get out the water skis.
Yeah. It's going to be touchy.
Yeah, well, let's look at what's going on here, okay? I mean, the truth of the matter is, Flash sprung from Arrow.
Right.
Well, yeah, of course.
And I think the possibilities are very strong that if they can pull off Adam, again, and as we're talking, it's not something cool or planned out, but accidental, and watching him have to grapple with it, okay? The showrunners have already said, I mean, they have not discounted. They've been asked several times, could Adam be another spinoff? And their answer's always been, let's see what happens.
Right.
Yeah, but do you think Adam could carry a show? Not Brandon Routh, but the character. Do you think he could carry a show on his own?
If they made it... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, totally. Because, I mean, no offense, but, I mean, Marvel's going to give us Ant-Man as a full big-budget movie.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So I can see the Atom being its own show, but... Again, what you guys have already, already said, and I'm just going to repeat it, okay, is basically when they sprung the Flash from Arrow, they did the smart thing in saying, okay, but we changed the entire perspective and mood of this show. So it's not a mirror image of the dark, angst-ridden Arrow.
True.
And we've seen that in the crossover. That became so obvious it was ridiculous. And again, I think it's one of the reasons why I absolutely love the Flash, because of its optimism, okay, which is great.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in Arrow.
Right.
I mean, last night's episode shows you that, okay? There's a dark side to Ollie Queen that we don't have in Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Great. Is there another angle? Can they find a third angle for an Adam-type series? I don't know, guys, but that's what you'd have to do. If they were to launch it, it'd have to be something totally different.
Yeah.
And you know what I would do if I were the production team? After this season of Flash, for the second year, I would, instead of Harrison Wells, I'd have Ray Palmer kind of take over as the leader of the team, and give him a year to kind of, he could be the rich guy who learns how to be a hero. If Ollie Queen if Barry Allen's that optimist, it's like Ray Palmer learns how to be kind of the scientist, heroic, and still be rich, and then you spin him off into his own show. Because Arrow has said they've got a 5-year plan. After year 5, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So you could then do, you have the Flash as the optimistic, helping people out, and then you've got the Atom as almost the accidental hero. He's got this suit where he's just exploring all this cool sciencey stuff, and yes, he gets to help people along the way.
No.
Right.
That's just me.
Right. Let's not forget, because we're talking about the Atom, as that secondary would-be hero on the Arrow series. The Flash has got its own, which they're now starting to get into, which is Firestorm.
Yeah.
And is that going to spin off? Who knows?
Yeah. I could definitely see Adam flowing out from Flash better than I can see him flowing out from Arrow.
And I don't think Firestorm, the way they've got it set up, I don't think he's strong enough to carry a series.
Not
It's
yet.
like,
I think they would, if they were going to do that, they would have to put Adam and Firestorm together. But I think for Adam to be his own show, they're going to have to do one of two things. They're either going to have to set it in a college or something like that aspect and focus a little more on the scientific aspects of Ray Palmer.
Right. I agree.
You know, kind of make it a greatest American hero, but not exactly.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Or it's going to have to be a procedural.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be like a police procedural, where you know, he's going to have to use his intelligence and his wealth.
But Ray Palmer was always a scientist.
Right.
And if you come at that kind of a character in that kind of a series with a scientific perspective,
right,
exactly,
I think you can make it work. But you know what? We're talking about this, guys, and regardless of whether they spin them off or not, I mean, we've already seen a crossover between just two of them, which was a joy, right?
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine next season if they absolutely develop both the Atom and Firestorm to do another crossover with all four of them?
And not to mention Supergirl if they really do tie that in.
What I'm talking about, obviously, is a mini Justice League of America here, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We are living in a magical time that we even have, you know, this many things, this many possibilities to talk about.
Pinch me, please.
I want to mention one more thing because it's kind of interesting because we're all Felicity fans. And it's interesting that she is the through line for all three of these characters.
She's going to spin, I think. If Arrow does, when Arrow does in, not if. I have the definite and distinct possibility because Adam is going to need his own Girl Friday sort of character.
Yep.
I would not be the least bit surprised if they spin Felicity into his show.
Exactly.
I could see that totally.
And it'd be great, and, you know, I would especially call for them to have a dress code where she can wear as many short skirts as possible. But that's just me.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a show with Felicity and Peggy Carter.
Oh God, yeah.
Just wearing skirts and slips and going brilliant on adventures and stuff.
Just being brilliant, you know.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
I have to get back on track after that.
Hey, have you guys seen that new teaser trailer for Netflix's Daredevil?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it actually looks good. I'm surprised.
It looks so good.
It looked good.
You know, some people that are just familiar with like the newer stuff of Daredevil may not get it or appreciate it, but looking back like to the history, to the Frank Miller stuff and stuff like that with Daredevil, it hit every note for me with that.
It sure did.
It definitely was, because I hadn't seen it until, you know, the agenda. I don't know if I was purposely avoiding it or not, because I'm a little afraid that they're going to screw these series up that they're going to have a hold of. But what little bit I saw in that trailer definitely gives me good feelings about the way the series is going to go.
And the other three series when they come, it gave me more hope for those as well.
It did, and also the fact that, you know, I know we mentioned this once before, but the fact that, or maybe we didn't, but the fact that David Tennant is going to be Kilgrave.
Yeah, he's going to be Purple Man,
He's going to be the Purple Man. And I'm like, okay, you got me. That's it. You know, I'll watch David Tennant read a phone book. So, making him Kilgrave, I'm there.
Yeah, I just hope he keeps his accent, because he cannot do an American accent.
No, he can't, but if he keeps the British accent, or, you know, at least sounding aloof, would be perfect for Kilgrave anyway.
You were going to mention Kingpin, Ron?
Yeah, I was. Vincent D'Onofrio, come on. I mean,
of course,
I was sold with that right off the bat.
Yeah.
He can act, and, you know, you could make him be Peggy Carter, and he'd be great at it. Honestly.
What I love, though, they're going... These particular characters that they chose for the Netflix stuff are all and we have talked about this, they're all the street level, you know, Hell's Kitchen based characters, and to put it in that dark tone, it's like perfect. That's what it needed to be, I think.
Yeah, keep the whole thing in the... I mean, you can see from the teaser trailer, keep the whole thing in the shadows.
Yeah. That's
what this entire block of stuff needs. Keep it in the shadows, keep it in the, you know... Let's not have a lot of bright lights and stuff going on with these guys. Let's just keep it all dark.
Now, Ron, the beautiful thing about Netflix, and I know you don't have it, and I know you're not getting it. I'm just saying, the beautiful thing about the Netflix original series, though, is they release all the episodes at once.
Yes.
So on April 10th, I think is when it comes out. All 13 episodes are going to be right there. So if you wanted to, you could get Netflix for 1 month, watch all the episodes, cancel it, and be done until the next one comes out. Just saying.
Yeah. No. Hey, look. I mean, trust me. I'm going to find a way to see this. I have friends here in town who have Netflix, so I am. Come hell or high water, I am going to get to see this.
And Ron, one thing you might want to consider. I wanted to see the pilot of Man in the High Castle, which is on Amazon Prime. I was looking through YouTube, and someone just happened to upload it illegally. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone who's listening to do that, because that would be illegal and that would be wrong. But if somebody who is not listening does that, Ron, that might be a way for you to enjoy it without having to subscribe for Netflix.
Right.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think these things are going to stay exclusive to Netflix for long.
Right.
Yeah, illegally or legally.
Yeah.
I don't think I think deals are going to be brokered that these things are going to blow up so big that, they'll be out in the ether really quickly.
Yeah, some network is going to grab them for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
Yeah, ABC is going to be like, okay, we need to put something here. Oh, let's grab Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw the teaser myself and loved it as much as you guys did. It
was just fantastic. Speaking of teasers, we won't go into how Heroes ended and how it got off track. We've talked about that before. But we know that Heroes Reborn is coming, and they finally showed us a teaser, and it was just that. It was just a barely teased one character showing some kind of power, and we see horn rimmed glasses there. I don't know. I'm a Heroes fan. I'm excited for this. We don't know when it's coming yet, but I can't wait for it personally.
I'm afraid you're a little bit alone in that because
that's fine.
I mean, looking at that teaser trailer, ooh, look, I can make the Aurora Borealis. Yeah. What does that have to do with Heroes in any way, shape, or form? I mean, if horn-rimmed glasses hadn't showed up, I wouldn't know what that was for.
They did show the eclipse symbol in there, too.
A little bit, but it was mostly someone creating rainbows.
I think the same person that did the Heroes Reborn trailer also did the Fantastic Four trailer. And I want to hear a commentary for the Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, exactly. Trailer, please.
I've got to do this. I mean, look. First of all, I'm really happy for you, Brant. Yeah, because I saw it. And I'm not being facetious or anything. I saw it and I went, well, good. And I know you're not alone. There are a lot of people out there who love that show. Right. All right. So, I mean, if there's hope for you, Brant, then just maybe someday somebody's going to go get Bruce Campbell and they'll give us another season of The Adventures of Briscoe County.
Maybe. I mean, but for God's sakes, you couldn't break a cheerleader or something in this thing?
I don't know. I'm excited for it. Zachary Levi, who was on Chuck and who was in the second Thor movie, he's going to be in it.
Yeah. Is anybody recognizable but Horn Rim going to be in it?
I don't know. I know that.
I mean, I know cheerleaders on Nashville, and
Zachary Quinto is not coming back.
Zachary Quinto's Spock now, and I don't know what Hero is doing these days. I think
they've said that possibly showing up at some point, even if it's just like a cameo or something, would be Milo and there was a couple others. I can't remember who.
I think Adrian Pasdar should do it, but with his Glenn Talbot haircut.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the mustache.
Yeah, if I was him, I would kind of want to back away from Heroes and stick with Glenn Talbot.
Yeah.
Because
Very true.
And as I keep yelling at him every time he shows up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., go bug the Hulk.
Yeah.
Go find a TV series and bug the Hulk.
Exactly.
Quit bugging Coulson.
Right.
You know what? I have an idea for a side gig to wait for us to earn some money.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do commentaries for teaser trailers and pay people to download it.
There you go.
Actually, I'm kind of hoping CinemaSins will hire me because I'd be much better at that. just talking smack about other people's trailers.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we do now.
That's very true. Oh man. Oh, so we are actually coming up on our 90-minute mark here. I don't know.
We are, but we should mention the DC animation stuff.
Yeah,
that's always good.
Yeah, there's a couple things we can definitely skip over here.
I think
Little
Right,
Miss.
right.
that was just vanity for me.
The animation too. We gotta.
We got to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. The first is Batman Unlimited, which is actually going to be a made-for-video animated movie. It's called Batman Unlimited Animal Instincts that has Batman, Flash, Red Robin, and Green Arrow in it. And it's some kind of cyber animals.
Yeah, they fight.
Yeah,
Cyber animals or something, or they team up with them, or whatever.
Yeah,
but
again, let's get this straight for all our listeners out there. Okay, what we're talking about is DC is going to be releasing 2 new animated series geared to the little ones.
Yeah,
not for you teenagers,
right.
And not for you college kids. Brant's all excited about Heroes Reborn, and we live in a world where Super Friends is back.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I'm tickled.
Yeah, before you jump to Super Friends, Batman Unlimited is also going to have a 22 standalone 2-minute short thing. But yeah, no, Super Friends is coming back, like you said. So it's building on the Fisher Price Imaginext DC Super Friends.
Gotta make them toys. Gotta make them toys.
Hey, I don't care. I will probably go buy those toys, but I'm just overjoyed that the Super Friends are back. Even in this form.
Now here's a question that I think many listeners have, and I'm going to ask it.
What the
is
hell
it
is
the
the
Wendy
Super
Marvin
Friends?
Wonder Dog Super Friends, or the Zanjana and Space Monkey Wonder Friends?
It's got to be Zanjana, right?
None of the
knows
above.
who Wendy and Marvin is.
Well, Brant, Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog were in the initial first 2 seasons of Wonder Dog.
I know who they are.
He knows who they are, just no one else.
I'm just saying the general.
Hey, you know what?
The general fan doesn't know who Zane and Jane are either.
Reading the press release for both, and like I said, honestly, I am tickled pink that DC, One Animation is doing this.
Yeah.
Come on, okay? I mean, the Saturday morning cartoon landscape is so devoid of anything fun anymore.
Right.
It's a tragedy, and to see these 2 shows being geared for the younger crowd, the younger set. I mean, I grew up loving the old classic Warner Brothers cartoons, and my kids and my grandkids grew up on Super Friends and all that good stuff. So I'm really, really happy to see this happening.
Yeah. Just look at the Super Friends. Everyone but Batman is smiling.
Yeah.
How is that not going to be great?
Yeah, it's very true. And, I'm happy for this as well. I grew up on Super Friends, probably reruns, but Super Friends anyway. As well. At the same time, and I love that they're making content for the kids too. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I would give both of these back if they just bring Young Justice back for me.
Well, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd sacrifice Fantastic Four to them if they bring Young Justice.
Throw it on the bus.
I agree.
Oh.
And I don't think we have time for our Secret Wars discussion here. We can save that for another time.
No, we can save that for another time. And I would say skip the whole Super Bowl movie thing, because that, with a few exceptions, that whole lot is just dismal.
I am looking forward to the Terminator movie.
A little. Yeah. I kind of am, and I'm slightly interested in Tomorrowland.
Jurassic World looks kind of interesting, and I love the Fast and Furious movies personally.
Right, and but Seventh Son, for God's sakes, who thought that Jeff Bridges could do a British accent ever? Pitch Perfect 2, what?
Yeah, we're not gonna mention that.
We're singing in the dark now. What? 50 Shades of Grey. Don't get me started on how vanilla that movie is going to be. Ted 2, I'm sorry, one joke.
They've already showed it, so.
And they've already showed the joke, so over. Divergent, Insurgent, we've given that way more time than it needed already. Hot Tub Time Machine, also one joke over again. Yeah. Kingsman, I think will be good, but the fact that they gave Samuel L. Jackson a speech impediment is insulting.
True.
To people with speech impediments like myself. Minions, always funny, but they're just bananas. So
that said, as much as Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson in every movie, it's kind of refreshing to see him not be himself.
Not be Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
Or to be Samuel L. Jackson with a speech impediment?
Well, either way,
Look.
It's
Somebody made a comment about the Kingsman, which is one of my, I've got that checked off, guys. I'm definitely
No, I think I want to see it, definitely.
Yeah, I've read some advanced reviews online, and I really want to see that. Somebody made some remark about, boy, Colin Firth is an action hero. Who would have thought? I would have thought there's a film out there that obviously people haven't ever seen called The Last Legion.
Yeah.
And stars him as a Roman commander in Britain, fighting the Celts and whatever, and it is amazing. And he's got the acting chops down pat. But this thing, it looks like he's having so much fun. All right, playing it straight laced but kicking butt at the same time. It's a film I definitely want to see.
It's James Bond school, honestly.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I want to see it only because I want to see. It looks like one of the actresses from Glee kicking ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Colin Firth can do a lot more than stutter, folks. I mean, watch your films, for God's sake.
And speaking of which, Brant,
yes.
Without spoiling, on the most recent episode of Flash, figures a Glee-esque moment, and that's all I'm going to say.
It is. It's a great one too. But and the last thing that we should definitely skip, the Ghostbusters reboot.
Oof.
Okay.
Give these women a separate movie. Call it something else. It'll be fantastic.
I think it'll be funny though. I did want to make a point on the Flash thing. I did not remember or realize that Grant Gustin was on Glee before he did Flash. So anyway.
Oh yeah.
But see, I'm going to differ on the Ghostbusters thing only because I think an all-female Ghostbusters can work.
I do too, but I'm worried because
I'm not sure of the cast.
Kristen Wiig, which I do like her humor in certain things, she is over the top a little bit though, and I'm worried that she's going to go a different route that it's going to be too much for that kind of movie. It's going to make it a parody almost.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about her as I am Melissa McCarthy.
Well,
because Melissa McCarthy's entire career is one long fat joke. And it's not a funny fat joke either. I
was told she was on Gilmore Girls, which was different. She was different.
She may have been, but yeah.
So I don't. Other than that, I've only seen her in the comedy stuff, though. So.
Yeah, and Leslie Jones, she's funny on SNL. In all honesty, she hasn't earned this yet. I don't think she belongs here. I think there's a lot of other funny women out there that could fit that role.
Yeah, I'm just worried with Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
it's going to become a parody.
Yeah, it's going to just be crashing shtick.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it's not going to be a good movie.
I think it's going to be Melissa McCarthy saying inappropriate stuff, basically.
Pretty much. I honestly think she's going to be the Bill Murray character in this, even though I think that they're probably going to cast her as the Dan Aykroyd character. But I think she's going to be Bill Murray character. Yeah. Well, I just think that she's just going to get in there and say stupid crap all the time.
Yeah.
That won't necessarily make any sense in the plot, because I also get the very bad feeling that whatever script that they're going to have is going to get thrown out. And they're going to just start riffing.
Yeah, it's going to be like the Anchorman movies, where they riff so much that they lose the joke.
Right. They kill the joke. They beat it to death.
So that's going to be a summer bill with Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah, exactly. They'll be at the same theater together, and it'll be empty.
On the plus side, I finally did see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. So.
That's not possible.
Yeah, but you also like the Heroes Reborn trailer.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you know?
Perspective.
Megan Fox had a nude scene in it, Grant, that we didn't know about.
I will say this doesn't say much at all. It actually says very little, but I think this was the best acting she has ever done in her career. Take that for what it's worth.
See, now that sounds like the last Batman movie.
Again.
What's his face? Schumacher did or whatever.
Yeah.
Where Arnold was the best actor in the movie. Oh God. Yes.
Anyway, that
Are we done?
yeah,
guys?
we're done. We're done.
No.
All right.
So we'll do what we usually do and go around the table and see what everybody has coming out, and going on, and I'll probably mainly talk about the Zone 4 programming. So Ron,
Yes.
what do you have?
Okay. Definitely. While we were on hiatus, Airship 27 launched its first book of the year last month in January, and it's a straight out Western. It's called Gun Glory by an Oklahoma writer named R.A. Jones. And if you like those old-fashioned kind of cowboy books, a la Max Brandt or Louis L'Amour, please check it out. It's available on Amazon on both hard copy and on Kindle. And right now, we're working towards the February release, which we're really excited about, which is going to be our 7th volume of Sherlock Holmes Adventures, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Volume 7. And we hope to have that out within another week and a half. You'll be able to find it, on my Facebook page and all over the internet, because I'm going to promote it like crazy. Personally, myself, I've been playing catch up with a lot of projects that I'm doing for Moonstone Books, and they just announced my World War I aviation pulp hero, Nighthawk, which will be solicited. Believe it or not, guys, this is going to show up in comic shops, which I'm very happy about. It's going to be solicited in the March issue of Diamond's Preview, and so it has a June 15th release date. I've just finished writing a new pulp novella for Moonstone called Faces of Fear, which teams up the Black Bat and the Purple Scar, and I am still writing 2 brand new regular series for Moonstone. So as you can tell, guys, the year's off and running, and I'm keeping wicked busy.
Awesome. Very cool. Gordon, what about you?
Okay, well, I've not been wasting my time either. I've got quite a few things in the hopper. I just finished editing content edits on a story for Pro Se Productions, which should be released in the coming months. And in their newsletter, I saw the cover for another project that I had written for is to be released. So I'll have 2 stories released by Pro Se, as well as I'm finishing editing on a story for Airship 27, and they already have one that'll be out at some point in the future. In April, my story When Angels Fall will appear in New World Navigation, which is a Dreamer Syndicate New World Navigation, which is an anthology. It's a fantasy anthology. I'm going to be starting to do planning for Chicago TARDIS in the next few months, and there may be a change of venue. When I know, you guys will know. I'm also on the leadership team for Can't Stop the Serenity. It's through Chicago Brown Coast, and it's a fundraiser for Equality Now. The organization is in its 10th year, and they've raised over $1 million, so I'll be helping with the media and PR for that. The Chicago Geek Breakfast will be up and running in March. For more information, head to about.me/Chicago Geek Breakfast. And I also run the Chicago Doctor Who Meetup, and we do a pledge drive twice a year to support our meetup costs. Meetup.com charges us to host on their site. So if you're interested in donating, if you're part of the meetup group, it's optional. But if you're feeling generous, you beat up some kids for their lunch money and you want to send some our way to feel better about yourself, go to meetup.com/DRWHO-111 and look up the Support Our Meetup Group February Pledge Drive entry, and you'll get more details.
Awesome. John, what about you?
Well, I actually spend a lot of our time away being sick in one way or another, but it is very true. And but in the recent days, I have been catching up on quite a few things. My children's book, Oh God, I've just blanked out on my own children's. I've just blanked out on my own work. Oh no. Well, Rodney Fike, who does Peanut Butter and Jelly, the comic.
I was about to say I do that too. I'm white.
Yes, you do. But no, he is still drawing my children's book Blue, which will be coming out soon. He's working very hard to get some of his own stuff out of the way so he can hop onto that. My second children's book, A Murder of Crows, is going to be done in a very much kind of an old printmaking style with a lot of intricate line work. So as you can imagine, that's going to take quite a bit of time to do. Yeah. But so in the meantime of that, I've actually started 2 more children's books that I'm writing. One, if people have any memory at all, for about a minute and a half, I did a webcomic called Little Monsters.
I remember something about that.
Yeah, something about that. It's kind of little cute monster versions of the classic Universal monsters, with a flying monkey from Wizard of Oz thrown in, and I'm going to be adding a ghost and a witch character. Well, all that's going to become a children's book very soon. Very much in that kind of, we were talking about the Super Friends stuff. The art style will be very much in that style. And then the other children's book I'm working on is kind of grew out of a failed convention idea I had. This children's book is called The Legend of Ignatius Weisenheimer, Scientist, Time Traveler, Chimpanzee. And it will be about an ultra-intelligent chimpanzee who jumps from the enclosure at the London Zoo in somewhat Victorian times, and is taken in by a kindly couple, and he goes on to do some interesting and wacky things with time travel and science and things like that. So those will be my major projects, at least for the next couple of months, I think. And then there's something that happened over the winter break, I guess we can call it, but I can't talk about it. And Brant's the whole reason I can't talk about it. So
yeah, I tied him up and gagged him and threatened him.
It actually, he mentally tied me up and gagged me, and I loved every minute of it. But no,
here we go.
But
50 Shades of John. Look out.
50 Shades of John. Yeah. But I can't say anything about it, but it is big, giant size, earth-shattering, world-changing news. But we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
So
right. That's how big it is. It's so big we can't talk about it.
It's so big we can't talk about it. So, it's all Brant's fault. We can't talk about it. So blame Brant.
Brant, you got married over the break, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, you want to shout, this is an aside, and, sorry to drag people into our side, but Brant and I were talking over at New Year's Eve, because he was at his home, and I was at my home, and I was homesick and everything, right. And, I kept joking with him that his roommate is female, and, they're just friends. But I was joking that, that they should kiss, or that he should get a kiss from somewhere. So he sends me a picture of him with Hershey's Kiss in his hand.
Oh.
And I'm like, so funny.
Yeah, I'm a dork.
So that's our little Brant being funny. But he's a dork. So, so Dork, what are you up to now?
Oh, shoot. Well, you forgot to mention next month you'll be writing a book without a monkey in it, but no, that'll never happen.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, no, that's part of isn't that part of the stuff we're not allowed to talk about?
That's true. It's a totally different animal. Well, no, that's...
Yeah, see, now you're talking about the stuff we couldn't talk about.
I know.
See?
No, anyway. Oh, shoot. Anyway,
as bad as Chucky's keeping a secret.
I'm telling
What's wrong with you?
No, there is something that, like John alluded to, that we're not talking about just yet. Down the line, we will definitely say it here first, though. We'll put it like that. So stay tuned because there is big news coming.
You'll learn, but not today.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's good. Trust me. Anyway, as far as me, I do want to ask everybody to tune into the Comic Frontline live show next Tuesday because it's two celebrations in one. It's our 1 year anniversary because we started as a channel on February 11th and of 2014, and we also just yesterday hit 2,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
Woo-hoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we are double celebrating next Tuesday night with the live show. So it should be fun, exciting, a bunch of comic talk, and just a lot of fun being had. Anyway, so as far as me personally, I am. Let's see, I wrapped up some stuff for Assailant. I am working once again on Superhuman Resources. Flatting some stuff, the general stuff. I'm doing the same stuff. I have pulled out some old stories I've been dusting off and kind of tweaking, and I've been doing some writing over the break. So getting really back into that. Excited about that. Some prospects coming up. As far as Zone 4 goes, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I released an announcement video earlier. We talked about some of the programs coming up. The new cast members, Chris Ventura, who has been a reservist for a while, is going to be a full cast member, as well as Comic Frontline's Mike Spiderslayer is coming over, joining John and I for the next episode of Zone 4. Once a month, it'll be the four of us talking, and we're going to be talking about Spider-Verse on this first episode, which I'll get with you after the show, John.
I was about to say, and it pains me greatly, but I'm doing it.
Exactly. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about Spider-Verse, and each month we're going to be looking at the next month's comics and kind of talking about some stuff that we're interested in coming out and stuff. So that's going to be fun. Over on Comic Frontline, we've got Hit Points, which is the gaming podcast. It's once a month as well. On the Zone 4 podcast channel, we've got Hall of Toys as a live show, also once a month. Both of those are going to be towards the end of the month. And Chris, as part of the Zone 4 family, he's doing his shows. It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's a Podcast. It's coming back in video format. And Epic Rewind, which is another Gaming Central show. Those are going to be on his YouTube channel, which is Dark Avenger C86. So lots of stuff in Zone 4 land. I've been doing for like the past 4 weeks on the Zone 4 podcast channel, I've been doing a comic countdown, kind of ranking the books that I read each week. So if you guys want to check that out. Beyond that, just more of the same and more fun from the zany, wacky Zone 4 crew that we are now officially back. There is one more thing. I'm sorry, guys. If everything falls into place, goes according to plan, the Wannabes Kickstarter should be sometime next month. So, there you go.
Yes.
Yes. And that's it.
Yay.
So, does anybody want to
The only Wannabes fan in the world left, me.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you, John.
You know what? I'll read us out.
All right, cool. Go for it, Gordon.
Okay. We'd like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Wall Band and Society's Plague, that you hear on the show each episode. And we play them because it's either them or Barry Manilow, and I'd much rather hear them. Thank you very much. We are also proud members of the Comic Related Podcast Network, and as long as we slip them a little money in an envelope under the table, they're proud to have us as well. And you can find us on comicrelated.com, Comic Frontline, Stitcher, iTunes, and of course Zone4Podcast.com. Now, if you're listening to this on a CD that you bought from a guy who is also selling bootleg DVDs and tube socks, no, we don't approve of that. That's piracy, and that is wrong.
And tube socks are ugly.
Yeah. they're the ones with the green stripe on top and the yellow stripe
I know.
on the bottom.
What is this, 70s? My God.
Yep, and if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, book recommendations, recipe tips, or auto maintenance strategies, please send those to Zone4 at comicrelated.com. And as always, we thank you very much for listening, and you are now leaving Zone 4.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, all.
Don't forget to be awesome.
Winning!
Winning.
Everything is awesome.
Go, Fantastic Four! Go, Fantastic Four! Live on! Go, Fantastic Four! It's clobbering time!
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.
Honk!